All right, this is the second episode of Teams. So in the first episode, I showed you how to log on to Teams, and in the second episode, I'm going to give you an overview of all the bits and pieces inside Teams. When you open up your Teams for the very first time, unless you've been invited to a team, you won't have all of these tiles here. Each one of these tiles represents a group of people that can talk to one another inside that environment. So they're separate groupings. You can almost think of them as meeting rooms. And inside those meeting rooms, you can chat, you can video chat, you can make calls. Phone calls can also be enabled on this if you have a voice over IP system. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a mock environment. So what you'll have on your screen is this icon right here that says join or create a team. If you've been invited to a team and you have a team code, you can simply put the code in here. That's also something that you can create for a classroom team. We'll get to that later on in another video. This next one here, I'm going to go to create a team. And you have 4 different options that come up. There's a classroom, professional learning, a staff area, or other, so clubs and that sort of thing. So for now, I'm just going to create a staff environment, and I'm going to call it test. Okay, and I have a couple of options here. I can put in a description, so I could just put something in there about what the purpose of that group is, and we'll talk about that later. But also you can set the privacy to private. Only team owners can add members, or anyone in your organization can join. If you set it to anyone in your organization can join, it simply means that anybody that you add to this team can add other folks just by giving them the link. It won't automatically show up in other people's environments unless you've invited them. And they can also opt out. Now it's creating my team. And I can invite people at this point. I'm not going to do that, but it will look through Office 365 for all of the participants. That includes students as well. You can name people just by typing in their name, and it will autofill. So I'm going to skip this right now. Okay, here's my team. It's a fresh team, up and open and ready to use. So you'll notice that there are a couple of different features of this particular team. If I go back to all teams, you'll notice that when I go down to the bottom of the page here, I've got my test team right here. And within a team, you have posts. So that's kind of like a Facebook feed kind of thing. People can type things in this little bubble, and it will pop up for anyone that's part of that team. You can add files. So if I click and drag a file and dump it on this page, it will appear right here. And then I've also got a staff notebook as well. So this is an area that during a meeting you can open up a OneNote page, and you can create an environment where you save things. You can also add a tab. You can add a tab, call it whatever you like, and then you can also add apps inside that tab. So one of the ones that's very popular with our staff, or will be popular with our staff, I expect, is Flipgrid. And you can add, let me just see if I can find it here. You can add Flipgrid as an application to this to this tab. Let's see if I can find it here. It may not appear unless I'm using the classroom tab. I don't see it there. Anyway, it's an option that's available. You can also add things like Evernote, Yammer. You can add forms. You can add something called Stream, which is a program that allows you to save video and create video, Word, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to X out of that. Now, within your team, if you want to, I'll go back to posts here. If I want to start a video chat, I can click on Meet Now, and it will create a meeting. There are other ways to create meetings as well, and I'll talk about that in another episode, but that's quite useful. You can attach files. You can format the text inside this. You can also delete things that you post. So if I write this, oops, caps lock is on. This is just test, and then I hit enter. It'll pop up in the feed, so I'm the first person to add something to this. People can reply, they can post things. If you post things on here and you have the application installed on your phone, it'll allow you to auto send updates. So if you put a question out there and somebody happens to read it and answers it, that's great. They can answer those questions. So you can also manage the channel by getting a link to the channel and sending it to others, so you can invite people that way if you didn't invite them to begin with. You can also get email addresses, and under managing the channel you can change the settings. So when we set it before so that only owners can post messages, anyone can post alert, anyone can post messages. So there's a few options in there as well. Back here. I can also change the icon on tests. So I just had the capital T here before, but if I wanted to, I could update it so it was a microphone or something like that. Classroom teachers might use this because they might use a symbol that represents their room. For my school, I set our team to our school logo. So our school logo is a wolf, and it's the wild. So I changed it to that. I also set up 2 teams as an administrator. I thought it was important that we had a place to share sort of everyday things, so updates about new puppies or things that are going on with our families, that sort of thing. That goes in this non-professional area in the water cooler, and then in our school team area we post things that are professional, and that's where we do a lot of our staff meetings out of. So that's it for the introduction to the interface. I will be doing a video on a number of other elements in more depth.